The city of Oaklawn recently settled with the family of a teen at the center of this video from 2022. It captures an officer punching the teen during the arrest. And now tonight, community members are confronting village leaders about police accountability. The arrest of 17-year-old Hadia Butela went viral. Our Leslie Moreno is live outside Village Hall with what happened at tonight's meeting.
Hey guys, welcome to the video. This is Justin Paul, and we're going to look at there's been a lot of community tension in Oaklawn. A team was beaten as they were being arrested, and we do have the dash cam video of this incident. But apparently they went and looking to detain the teen. They're saying that the teen was reaching into his bag or whatnot, and the teen had a gun within that bag. And the teen took off running from him. They caught the teen, and as we've seen in the opening clip, they punched on the teen a few times. So they end up suing and reached a settlement with the police, and the community is saying that the settlement isn't enough. They're calling for the officer's job. So we're going to examine this more here. I just really caught wind of this story, so I wanted to bring it to my channel and create a reaction for everyone.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it was a meeting of about 20 people, a bit confrontational and intense as police kicked everyone out right away, citing they were in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Community members and activists gather here at Village Hall to push for more answers. They're calling that settlement a partial victory. The frustration surrounds the newly approved settlement in the 2022 beating of 17-year-old Hadia Butela. That viral video shows 3 Oaklawn officers repeatedly striking Butela during an arrest that left him hospitalized with fractures to his face, skull, and pelvis. Police said at the time the teen ran from a traffic stop and was reaching for a bag. Officers later found it contained a loaded gun. Butela was charged with illegal gun possession and later sued the village and officers for more than $2 million. Last month, the village board approved it an $825,000 settlement. The Arab American Action Network says the settlement doesn't mean accountability. The organization is now demanding the officers involved be removed from the force as well.
You should not be able to beat a minor almost to death because he ran away from you and you're angry, and then go back to patrolling the streets the next day. It's time for the Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, to come in, launch a full and independent investigation into the violations of civil rights of our community and other communities by this department. They will not hold themselves accountable. They need to be held accountable by the Attorney General.
Now, I don't agree with them beating on the teen like that. Once you have him down and you have his arms behind his back and you're putting restraints on him, what's the need of beating his face into the pavement like that? So man, that's heavy, because even though he shouldn't have ran from the traffic stop and shouldn't have been reaching for his gun, it was 3 of you guys, and you guys looked like you guys had him pretty much detained at that point. So like resisting, there's like a real fine line as far as what's considered resisting or not. Of course, nobody wants to be arrested and taken in, so oh man, this one is tough. I do not agree with the punching, the beating the kid's face into the ground, even though the kid had a gun on him. I mean, the kid knew he had a gun on him. That's why he took off running. He knew he shouldn't have had that gun on him as well. But man, to beat his face into the ground like that, that's just unbelievable. And it's really, it's kind of a show of like that was just overkill, really. Like could have killed the kid, really, beating his head into the pavement like that. The kid suffered multiple, facial fractures and stuff like that. And I just have to call it as fair as I can, really. Because once you see the video, man, it's pretty egregious to beat the kid's face in like that. Honestly, again, it was three of them, on them, and they already had him look like they had both his hands behind his back, so he was defenseless at that point. Um, he was already, within their detainment, and yeah, I mean, they sued for 2 million, which if you're gonna sue, you have to sue for a very high number, and of course, they're gonna look to settle and stuff like that, because they settled because they watched that video and they knew that was excessive force, and you can obviously see three individuals there. They're all gonna be putting their weight on you. They're all gonna be trying to get you in cuffs and stuff like that. But for the guy to sit there and just close fist pound his head into the ground, and this and several officers did it. They were just showing that one, but and it's kind of I can understand the outrage and the tension within that community, because the guy was already hands behind his back. I mean, he was already detained, and we'll play it to get a little bit more info.
And in a statement, officials said they settled not because of the merits of the case, but because the village's insurance carrier pushed for it. Oaklawn will pay $250,000 out of pocket, with insurance covering the rest of that amount. And as far as what's next, the organization's director says they will continue showing up to these village meetings and continue to push for answers and transparency from this police department. For now, reporting live here in Oaklawn, Les Moreno, Fox 32 Chicago.
They were smoking weed over there. So, hey, do me a favor, please step out. They're just hanging out over here for me. So if they don't have anything crazy in here, then it's no big deal. Put your hands on the car for me. Mind if I search you real quick? You don't have any knives or guns on you, right? Nobody else, right? Whose backpack is at the back? That's yours? Just leave it there. Just hang out at the back of the car for me. Can you step out? Hands on the car. Anything crazy on you? Keep your hands up on the car for me. Stop running!
Yeah, that kid knew instantly that he had that gun in his bag on him, and the officer was patting on his pants and stuff like that, and he never fully turned and put himself in the position to be searched. He already had it in his mind that he was going to take off, and man. But even so, as I was saying, man, it's just not a grounds for him to get his head punched into the pavement like that.
Stop! Hey, stay there! He's going to McDonald's. Yeah, we got him for sure. 9-5 McVicker, 9-5 McVicker, next to McDonald's.
This kid is obviously smaller than every officer who brought him down. And even if he wasn't fully turning around or turning over, I mean, you guys should have the strength, the two of y'all should have the strength to turn this guy over. Of course, you may have been worried about the gun that you later discovered that was on him, Um, but the first thing y'all should have did, I'm not sure if they did or didn't, I can't see from here, is remove that the bag that was around his neck. And you know, one guy was wailing on his legs, the other was wailing on his face. So yeah, he got beat up pretty bad in this situation here. Um, and it's good that they've released these dash cam videos because it just shows, I mean, I, really no excuse for it. You should be physically fit as a police officer, so where running after a suspect isn't going to cause you to be angry enough with them to beat them up and beat their face in like that. So, it's just crazy.
That's not can, motherfucker. Put your hand behind your back. Do it now. Yeah, pressure point. Okay, pressure point. Pressure point. Put your hand behind your back. Do it now. Do it now.
Hands behind your back.
Hands behind your back. Got it. Got it. Let me watch this.
So it looks like they redacted some audio because I'm more than likely sure the police officers was calling them all kind of names and stuff like that. Um, I'm pretty sure they were. Um, they tased them. Of course, once you get them jolts going through you, you just gonna comply because you can't shock like that. You don't want to continuously be shocked and stuff like that. So his hands is behind his back now. And they're just now, removing the satchel and looking into it right now. And yeah, they found the pistol. And it looks like that's where the video stops. But yeah, I mean, definitely some police brutality. I understand, the safety risks that you guys are facing. Trust me, I get it. Y'all have a tough, very, very tough job. And of course, you guys want to return home to your families every night. Um, but again, every cop that I've seen within this video is physically more, they're more physically imposing than the guy was. And the first thing they should have did was took out their taser and get them to comply. That's why you have those tasers for. Um, I'm not sure as far as what their book or their manual says as far as closed fist punching a person's face into the pavement, but you know that's just crazy. This is crazy because you know when you look at this video, and hopefully they're gonna use this video within training or training purposes and stuff like that. Um, Officers have to find a way to control their anger, stay calm, make sure that, of course, they're safe. And, you know, of course, man, you still have a civil duty to police, to people to, make sure they're okay too, protect and serve. So, I mean, you're serving, but you still also, have to protect the individual because, they still have to, go through their legal procedures and stuff like that. You guys are really out there to make sure you bring them in to where they can face the legal proceedings, but you know you don't you don't put them into a point where they've been beaten up by guys just like I said physically more imposing to them than them. And they're in the hospital with neck braces on and facial fractures and stuff like that. So like they were saying, the community leader of the village is going to continue to be at these meetings and try to hold these guys accountable. But they reached a settlement in this, and if there's anything else that comes out of this, we'll definitely bring it up and do a reaction to it, and see what's become. But yeah, this is you know definitely not a good look for the officers who were doing all the punching and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot of body cam videos or arrest videos, and when you're resisting like that, you do open yourself up to being beat on and punched on, whether it's right or wrong. So we'll see what's going to happen. But again, if you like the content that's on my channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And again, this is Justin Paul. Peace.